right, good morning. If we can get everybody's attention, come in a little bit closer. I know those generators are kind of loud, so if you can come in closer, we can get a good briefing and everybody can hear. We got plenty of room in this nice big tent here also. Good morning to Happy Camp. We'll get started with this operational briefing. Today is August 26th. This is for the day shift. My name is Robert Ashby, Planning Section Chief. If you can silence your phones, radios, and please hold side conversations till the briefing is over. We'll get started this morning with our situational update with Don Fraguglia.
All right, good morning, everybody. So night shift had a good successful night last night. We'll start down here on the south end in Branch 5 like we always do. We did conduct just a little bit more PSD operations here along the 96, and that's to bring it to the road. These fires yesterday, for those of you that were down there, these fires were active yesterday, more so than we've seen them in the past week. And so really good critical work going on there last night down in on the Elliott fire to bring that fire down to the Highway 96 corridor, so it's in a place where we can hold on to it. On the north and east end of the Elliott fire, we're doing with some structure defense here in Coon Creek, and we did bring fire all the way around that private property. Numerous structures in there, everything's holding. We've got good black, and we saved some houses in there last night, so that was a good stroke. Up into Schwillup, that was active as well along the 96, but no issues, no concerns there as far as a day shift coming up. Everything was good. You can look at the IR map for the U-Fish, and it moved out yesterday and into last night. It's up above the river far enough that it could breathe well into the evening till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So U-Fish is chunking towards the Malone fire, and that has just risen in priority for this team. So U-Fish, Malone was static last night. It did get just a small amount of precip the night before last, and so Malone fire didn't move. No issues, no concerns there for day shift. Up onto Head Fire, they had a quiet night last night. We're making good progress out here, and so I kind of hammered everybody yesterday about the boots, but man, what a good catch right there on the Head Fire, and that's to everybody standing out here in the good hard work. I know what the Klamath looks like. I've been here since 1997 when I first started fighting fire, and I know what you guys are up against, cutting that direct edge out. So that's good, strong work out there, and I'm personally appreciative of it. Keep it up out there. We're going to put black on the map, and we're going to take that Head Fire away. Same on the Scott Fire, man. Thanks to our CAL FIRE partners out there, Branch 25. They're doing an excellent job. This belly started to fill in last night with the increased fire behavior. We're holding the Scott River Road, and we're going to take that one off the map here too in the coming days. So that's good work. We're bringing some stability to the community, stability to the incident. Lake Fire's quiet at night. No, there's no night shift out there. So with that, thanks for the hard work, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Next, we'll have weather.
Morning, everybody. Scott Stearns, incident meteorologist. So overnight, those RH recoveries pretty decent again down here in the lower elevations along the lower portions of Klamath River, sitting at around 75% there. Meanwhile, up at Oak Knoll, so lower elevations, kind of on the eastern side of the fire, near the Klamath. RH recovery is sitting near around 80-90% overnight. So. One difference, though, is the higher elevations of the head, where we do have that high elevation RAWs. They're at about 37, 39, 40% RH right now. So they saw a little bit better recovery a few hours ago, but they've already started to drop pretty drastically this morning. So just keep that in mind. And with that, you can expect that kind of recovery in some of the higher elevations across other portions of the fire as well. So we're getting a little bit cooler in the mornings, and we're getting warmer in the afternoons, which I'll talk about here in just a second. But when that's happening, it means we have that better stratification, that stronger inversion ongoing, and we can expect those poor RH recoveries to continue for the next couple days at least at the higher elevations. So just keep that in mind. It's cooler down here, means it stayed even warmer, drier up top overnight. Okay, so temperatures today, we're looking at roughly the 80s, low 90s in the lowest elevations, and RHs we're looking at upper teens, low 20s. So again, we're chunking up just a degree or two every day, past few days with temperatures. RHs in kind are coming down as well. So winds will be just slightly different today. We are looking at, we did have southerly, maybe even a southeasterly component for part of the afternoon yesterday. Today we're looking at southerly or southwesterly, somewhere in that neck of the woods. And those are going to transition to more northwesterly as we move through the afternoon hours. So something to keep in mind is exposed ridge tops won't be quite as effective down the lower elevations. We're a little bit more sheltered by terrain, but ridge tops and those higher elevations do expect winds to transition from southwest to northwest. Not much of a change in speeds. In fact, I think they'll be slightly less than we actually saw yesterday. So sustained around 5 to 10 miles an hour still, and gusts around 15 or so. Full sun today once again. So that all of this stuff is kind of adding up. You know, we're still looking at much of the same, increased temperatures, lower RHs once again tomorrow. So that's all I've got. Thanks.
Next, we'll have fire behavior.
Morning, Matt Brown, Fire Behavior, Team 5. So as you heard from the IBET, the recoveries at the top were quite a bit more poor than down at the bottom. And that stratification layer is going to mix out when the inversion sort of breaks. But overall, if you were to look at the 10-hour fuel stick across everything, and that kind of gives you an idea of how much recovery and how long we got it, because the 10-hour fuels need a little while to soak in that moisture. The 10 hours above 10% is half the time this morning than it was yesterday. So we're going to enter the burn period a lot earlier. So with the full sun showing, we're not going to hang on to too much of the humidity. The inversion's going to mix out pretty early in the shift, and our burn period will pick up right around 1300 today and really start to show itself. Working around the fire here, the head fire's got some IR in here, some intense heat on this side. Because of the winds, the wind direction kind of coming from the southwest this morning, it's going to push that hot edge back in on itself into the black, but provide a wind test for the part that we've gone direct on this side. And then later in the afternoon, that northwest will really kind of check up that spread up the river over there. On the Scott fire, now that this burns together, there's a lot of heat down in the bottom, and we saw some Motus hits on the other side of the river, but they're kind of old. But today, with the full sun, the low RHs, the higher elevation, a little bit of a wind, and a lack of RH recovery up there, we're going to enter in a probability of ignition of about 90%. So really high likelihood for spots to show themselves if these things keep coming together real hard and spit over there. So threat to spotting on that side of the Scott, because we had that southeast kind of push that column back over on that side. Today the wind direction should check it up in a pretty good fashion up there. Moving over here to the Elliott fire, we've got some high elevation intense heat right here. It's going to be exposed with favorable wind. Good chance that we're going to get some spread over the top of that. The Swill Up fire, most of the intense heat is here at the bottom. Very favorable wind, pushing it back into the black. Not expecting any sort of southern spread on that. The diurnals will pick in real early today and check fire spread up there. U-Fish and Malone, there's a drainage here. There's some piece of intense heat. The fuels are fairly broken in there, but the terrain is really favorable for an easter spread with the given wind speed and direction. We rely a lot in here in the Klamath with the broken terrain to shelter us the wind. So sometimes we'll get a lot of heat in the drainage and it won't really push because the wind's sheltered. Unfortunately, we've got really high temperatures today. It's going to create instability at the surface at all elevations, and it'll allow the winds to mix down, maybe not all the way down to the bottom of the drainage, but it'll allow the winds to mix down quite a bit further and affect more parts of the fire than we're used to seeing in the Klamath. If you have any questions, we'll be over here, and thank you for your time.
All right, again, turn your attention to the management objectives and the control objectives. It's on page 1 of your IEP. Review them with your crews and just get to know them well. Next, we'll have our operational assignments.
Hey, good morning, Spencer Andreas, Team 5 Ops. Go ahead and start with our operational roll call, and we'll get into priorities and work assignments. Okay, day operations, Don Fergulia. Spencer Andreas is trainee. Deputy operations, Alex McBath. And Scott Korn, who's over at the CAL FIRE camp. Night operations, Steve Burns in Happy Camp with Robert Rice. Planning ops, Ernie Villa with Jaime Hidalgo. Okay, over at Happy Camp, Branch 5, Gary Monday with Frank Alves, trainee. Division Alpha is unstaffed. Division Charlie, David Winokur with Phil Parashis as a trainee. Division Echo, Dale Schmidt with Brian Sears, a trainee. Division Hotel, Jason Schofield with Michael Spalding as a trainee. And again, over at Happy Camp, Branch 10, Jeff DePra. Division Juliet, Anthony Ochapini. Division Kilo, Jesse Perry with Chris Allen as a trainee. Division Lima, Sean Butterback. Okay, Branch 20, Steve Clark. Division Mike November, which is combined today, Brad Rafferty. Division Oscar Romeo, Anthony Powers with Charles Daniel as a trainee. Division Tango, Chevelle Monk. John Jordan's trainee. Okay, over at CAL FIRE camp, Branch 25, Keith Cummins. Division Alpha Alpha, Jeremy Johnson. Division Bravo Bravo, Jared Coos with David Pena. Division Charlie Charlie, Graham Gronerman with Justin Bridger as a trainee. Okay, Branch 30, Chris Stevens. Here. Cody Stature, trainee. Here. Townsend Group, Zeke Jones. Division Zulu, Jack Sevelson is on the line with Ryan Good. All right, our priorities for today. Okay, again, remain unchanged, head fire. And I'll echo Don, folks out there have done a tremendous job. This has been a task at hand to cut this out direct. They have turned the corner and they're doing a phenomenal job, and that will be done in the next couple days. So that's our priority. And then our second priorities are going to be the Scott and the U-Fish. So a lot of activity with those two fires yesterday. For those that were out in the line, those things stood up, and anticipate that happening again today. So going out for our work assignment, starting in Branch 5, continuing our work on Lightning Ridge, holding Highway 96. So as we know, they did some firing last night, so it's going to be pivotal to get in and mop this up today. Slope fire, same thing, 96, we need to get this mopped up. We had a little bit of spot up on the 23 road yesterday. Let's get that, we'll continue to pick that up today with direct line and mop up. U-Fish fire moved quite a bit yesterday, so start to work its way towards the river. So we'll need to get holding forces over on the riverside and continue to improve our lines. And the Malone, again, thankfully that got that precipitation, didn't move a lot, but we'll continue to bolster the lines around that. Over at Branch 20, I talked about, again, direct line construction is the name of the game today. We've got our CAL FIRE crews coming over again to support that. So Tango is going to be probably the most line construction that needs to continue. So by probably tomorrow's end of shift, that should be complete. Townsend Fire is looking great. Scott Fire stood up yesterday, very active. We had that big belly, started to close a lot, but anticipate very similar conditions today with a peak of 90, elevated temperatures and lower RHs. So Scott River Road's going to be the priority today to hold that. And then the lake fire, they were able to get this cut all the way around, mopping that up throughout the day, looking really good down there. Have a great shift.
Air operations.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Go ahead, open up to the Air Ops summary, the 220. It's on page 40 in your IAP. And you look through there. For Air Ops, there are no frequency changes today. The air-to-ground command and tactical are staying the same. But remember, you guys are getting a clone today, so you're changing. So after you get your radio and after you get a clone, go through there and familiarize yourself now with where your air-to-grounds are and put them back on your scan list, and go through your radio and just make sure you know where they're at and what channel they're on in your radio, so you can easily access them. For you folks out there working on the head fire today, so we will have a mission going on. You'll see some folks getting short-hauled by a helicopter out there. They're working out of drop point 1. So if you're on the head fire and you're working around drop point 1, be heads up and be aware of that we will have those helicopter flights and missions going in and around drop point 1. So make sure that you're aware of that and stay out of the area and be heads up for those operations. With that, have a good day.
Communications.
All right, everybody, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's Clone Day. Woo! I know you're all excited. We've been at it since 5:30 this morning. Please get your radios cloned. Try not to hand jam it. I'm going to tell you why. If you take a look at your 205s, I think it's 37, 38, and 39, you'll see that all the tones are tone protected on the receive and the there we go. On the receive and the transmit side, okay? You have to make sure that you don't pull from your regular pick lists to build a command group for this. Or if you're going to do that, for whatever reason, you just have to do it, make sure that you pull them from our clone to make it into your command group, okay? This is really, really important. Do you remember the other day? Okay, if I'm doing this, and you can't hear me, and I'm seeing you talk, right? It means that there's something wrong with your tones. So if you're gonna hand jam, which I strongly suggest you don't do, just don't. Just get a clone, especially on the brick radios. If you have a brick or a square key radio, make sure that we clone you. Okay, we have a bunch of repeaters out. We have one basically way over here, right? Over here so we can see Montague. We have another one here at Gunsight, another one at Lake, another one down here towards Scott Bar Mountain Lookout. I always have a hard time with that, don't know why. Again, Lake, Slater, and Yukonom, okay? Yukonom is not ideal for branch 5, specifically because when the fire starts to make its way over the top, you're not going to be able to hear them very well. So you may have to use human repeaters probably later in the day today down here in some areas. Get used to the system, talk on it, find out, okay? The other thing I want to talk to you about as we go through these 205s is we've broken them into geographic areas. So let me just give you an example of why we do that so that you can understand. I'll make it real quick. But if we filled one group with all the commands, it means that every single division would have to share 5 tags. That just doesn't work. So the way that we're able to give more tags to choose from is by separating into different command groups or different groups. So we have an east and a west. You'll see very clearly at the top that, for example, page 39, it says IA, okay? Page 38 is west, which means 37 is east. So what you're going to see is the fire. Ooh, that's nice. That got loud all of a sudden. It's going to be this repeater way over here, the one that's roughly here, Gunsight. It's going to be Lake, and it's going to be Slater. So we have right about through the center of the fire. That's how we divided out the east group. The west group is the same. That's also going to have Lake, okay? But it's also going to have Slater and Yukonom. And when it does go into service, it's also going to have Pony Peak, okay? Pony Peak is actually already in there because we had the frequencies assigned, so we will not have to re-clone you. What? If I could drop this mic, I would. So we've already got it in there. Don't use that frequency because we've got that in there and we're going to be using that frequency within a couple of days. So don't write over it. You're going to need that, okay? So get our clone. Really, and that means like all the radios, especially those brick radios. If you have a crew that has a whole crew worth of brick radios, it's important because you can't always bring over the ability to change tones. So 2 groups, east and west, are not tone selectable anymore. You're welcome. Right, I got you. The IA group is still tone selectable. So once again, if you're new to the fire, yeah. That's it, wrong tone. I ran the battery out on that thing, huh? Okay, good. I know this is a long one, but this is all important stuff. Okay, so that's why I'm serious about it. So, if you're still having problems with tones, please come over and see us in comms. We will square you away on tones, all right? It's important for the IA group. If you still don't feel comfortable with tones, you may want to talk to your division. No judgment, but you may not be an ideal candidate for an IA group. Okay? That's all I got. Thank you.
Good morning, guys. Jeff Carlin, Medical. So that just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. So you guys down here in Division 5, where you're going to be doing human repeating, make sure you guys got a good plan in case it goes gunny sack. Some good news is we do now have Santa Monica REMS for branch 5 and 10 use. So that'll be a write-in, and then that goes along with REMS 1 up on this end of the fire. Our ambulance is going to be stationed out of Happy Camp to better serve this lower end, and we'll still utilize them for the upper side of 96. So with the new clone, please, you guys, check your 206 in the back there. It's Happy Communications. If you need anything, just tell us who you are, where you're at, what you got, and what you need, and we'll do everything to help you out. And the last thing I'm going to say is Oak is running rampant. You guys are putting a strain on our medical units, trying to get all the Oak stuff. I'm going to tell you, you can help us start alleviating some of that. We got laundry now, showers, wash yourself, get your laundry done, and I promise you'll start feeling better and not have to spend so much time waiting in line for the Technu. With that, be safe. I'll see you tonight.
Safety.
Good morning, Dave Welch, Team 5 Safety. Let me check, make sure I'll push the button. This thing, okay. Yeah, we got a lot going on. I'm hearing the words spot out there coming from F-band. We got a clone, so there's just a lot of moving parts today. Make sure that you're got your heads on a swivel out there. One of the big things is driving. Driving, unfortunately, we are starting to get complaints now. And I'm here to tell you, they are taken seriously, and if they continue, it's going to be a quick ride home for some folks, especially here in town, but also out on the line. And I'm not talking just engines. Vehicles with O numbers, driving too fast. Everybody needs to slow down. We are guests here in these communities. There are schools open, weekends type of things going on. Please drive safely. And then I'm just, again, going to be quick. Page 5 is your safety message. Please review that with your crews. Make sure they get the briefing that they're entitled to. Thank you. Have a safe shift.
Resource advisor.
Morning, Joshua Corder, Lead Resource Advisor in the white hat. Easy to find me around camp. Just want to quickly say thank you for continual work with the Reeds and ARCs out on the line, coming with different perspectives and trying to solve problems and working with us. Sounds like it's been going really great from up here, so keep up that good work. If you turn to page 46, speaking of natural resources, you can figure and learn something out about if you protect frog habitat, you actually are protecting water quality and keeping the water clean. How so? The Cascade frog, which is starting to disappear in the Cascades, down here is a really big population of them. They hang out in meadows and streams. Okay, when you see them in there, they can be used as an indicator that the water quality is good and needs less filtering, such that they're in the meadows and riparian areas, which act, especially the meadows where they do their breeding and so forth. Meadows act like natural reservoirs. Lakes keeps that cold water coming down longer throughout the summer, especially in the droughts times of year, which also goes all the way downstream, and all the towns and the cities that have to clean and filter that water, if it's cleaner, it costs less, is less wear and tear on their filtering equipment, and tends to keep those bills down for all the local communities who use it to drink, including us back wherever you come from back home and you have the mountains with the meadows. They work the same way there too. So keep that in mind when you're out there. Check out some more interesting facts on the frogs on page 46 and work with the resource advisors like you've been doing should you come across one and need to get across or figure a way around it. Thanks.
All right, next we'll have our agency comment with Chris B.
Yeah, Chris Spilecki representing the Klamath National Forest. So we're here for a lot of reasons. We talked about resources. We're obviously trying to get people back home safely. So whether you're out there cutting hotline, mopping up, maybe running cameras in camp, whatever you're doing, it's part of this overall plan to take care of this thing and get folks home and move on. So we appreciate your efforts. Have a safe day and be poised for that activity that the experts have told us is coming this afternoon. Thanks.
All right, and closing comments with our ICs, Greg Roth and Jason Schillinger.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Greg Roth, the Unified IC. You've heard about all the great work that you guys have been doing out there. I really appreciate that. It's not time to let off the gas yet. Need you to get out there, need you to keep that pace, need you to continue to connect the dots, tie in everything that we can, direct and hold what we have. Big day today with the clone. Make sure everybody gets that done. Make sure that we get out to the line safely, and let's get out there and get some more good work done. Thank you.
All right, again, thanks for everybody's attention. Just a couple more comments. Down at Happy Camp, please stay there for just a quick message. Also, for finance, if you have not checked in for finance, please go do it so you can get squared away with getting paid. Also on the transportation map, there's no Division E on the map, so be aware of that as you're traveling out and trying to find Division E. Unassigned resources come up to the front. We have a resource unit leader here to take your information. Breakouts are posted around the briefing area. Next operational briefing will be at 1800 tonight, and then again tomorrow 0700. We'd have a cooperators meeting at 10 o'clock, and then a planning meeting at 1700. Be safe, be productive, and have a good day. Thank you.